Hey guys, welcome back to Deb's Journey. I'm Deborah, and today I'm going to share with you a recipe that you'll be able to use during this holiday season coming up. We're going to be making a pumpkin cheesecake. I want to show you some recipes that you can easily take to your family's house or to a friend's home. Maybe you're doing Friendsgiving, whatever it is that you're going to be doing during the week of Thanksgiving or even during Christmas time. I want you to be able to take something along that everybody will enjoy. So whether you choose to stay on track on keto or getting off for the holidays, whatever it is, at least this will help you at least stay somewhat on track and not indulge in so many of the other regular sugar pastries. So follow along with me as I show you this recipe. The first thing that we're going to do is preheat our oven to 350 degrees. And I put a glass casserole dish filled full of water inside in the middle. Let me show you so that you can understand a little bit better. So here I have a glass casserole dish, and the way that I did it was I pulled it out just a little bit, and I put the empty casserole dish in there, and then I put water into it almost all the way, and then I carefully closed it. It's always kind of difficult to have a big dish of water without swishing it around everywhere and then it falling down or spilling over. So that's my little tip for you. So that's going to create steam and allow for us to cook our cheesecake evenly without cracking. All right, so first we're going to make the crust, and it's going to require 2 cups of pecans. So we're going to get those started. I'm putting it in a food processor. All right, we're going to crush it just until it's fine like sand. We're not going to over whip it because then it'll turn into pecan butter, and we don't want that. Okay, so again, we're just going to make it into like a fine sand. Check it. We're close. Just give it another whirl. Just a little bit more. Alright, and that's the texture we're looking for. Okay, so to this we're going to add 3 tablespoons of butter. And we're going to add a teaspoon of cinnamon. And we're going to add 2 tablespoons of this Swerve brown sugar. And we're just gonna whip it up again. Alright, so the pan we're going to use is a spring form pan. It's one of these that kind of comes undone like this. And it's specifically for cheesecakes and tarts and that kind of thing. So what I like to do is I'm going to grease the sides and even the bottom part, and then I'll show you the next step. So I have the butter, the remaining butter from what I didn't use or didn't come out of for the crust. So I'm going to just use some of this and grease the sides, and I'll probably get a little oil too to help with it. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little bit of coconut oil, just a little bit, and rub it on the sides along with the bottom. You want to make sure that your cheesecake is not going to stick to the sides. Alright, so the next thing I want to show you is I always like to put a piece of parchment paper right here. Let me show you. I'll put it on here, then I just gently place this on top and then close it and make sure that it's on, and it is. That way, whenever it's time to take the cheesecake out, I can just open this up and pull the cheesecake off, because it's always kind of difficult to take it off of the bottom piece. Alright, let me show you the next part. Alright, so next we're going to get this crust, this delicious pecan crust, and let me put this to the side real quick. And I'm going to press it down. I'm going to take my rings off first. Alright, so now with nice clean hands, they were already clean before. I had just washed my hands, but anytime I get anything on my hands, I have to wash it. So we're just going to press this down. I'm not the type that likes the crust all the way to the top, so I'm just going to do it like maybe a fourth way up. A little bit more maybe. If there's enough crust to go that far up. I just don't want the crust to be super thick, but I don't want it to have high walls either. But that's my preference. Alright, so since I'm going to put the cheesecake inside of here, I'm not going to bake this, okay? Just because it'll burn really fast if I were to cook it and then put the cheesecake in it and then cook it for another 40 minutes. It would burn too fast. So if you're going to put something inside of here that doesn't require baking, like you want to do some kind of like chocolate pudding or I don't know, something else that would require maybe like a no-bake cheesecake, then you would bake this first at 350 for about maybe 10-12 minutes. Just kind of check on it depending on your oven, and then once it cools down, then you can fill it with whatever. But since we're going to make a baked pie, we're just going to leave it the way that it is, not being baked, and make the inside. Alright, so in this bowl I have 2 bars of cream cheese. It's full fat. Please make sure that you do full fat and not fat free or anything like that, because that has more carbs in it. Alright, so next I'm going to add half of a 15-ounce can of pumpkin. The pumpkin puree, make sure it's just the puree and it doesn't have already additional seasoning or sugar added to it. Now I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of sour cream. Again, make sure that it is full fat and not fat free. And I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of pumpkin spice. This is just a homemade one, but you can feel free to get one that's just store bought. I think I'm going to do 1.5. Okay, so with this already in there, I'm going to go ahead and start mixing, and then I'll add my eggs and my sugar. But I'm going to mix it a little bit so that the seasoning won't go flying out everywhere. Okay, so let's mix. Stop it and scrape it down. And go at it again. Just a little bit longer. Alright, now we're going to add our sugar. Okay, I'm going to add 1/2 cup of monk fruit sweetener. This one has erythritol in it. Now we're going to add half a cup of this Swerve brown sugar. We're going to mix it up a little bit, and then we're going to add our eggs. Again, little pro tip, mix it whenever you're going to add something that's like, that can splash out at you. All right, let's whisk, or mix, rather. Now we're going to add our eggs. I'm going to add 3 eggs. You're going to make sure that you scrape the sides down, otherwise it'll stay chunky. You don't want to over mix this, or too much air is incorporated into the mix and you'll have a kind of a weird texture cheesecake. And you want it to be kind of dense but delicious, so you don't want light and fluffy. Alright, and the cheesecake filling is done. Now to put it into our pie shell. Alright, so now we're going to add this inside of here, carefully. Alright, so you're going to kind of shake it just a tad, just to get some of the air bubbles out. Now I'm going to stick it in the oven for 40 to 45 minutes at 350 degrees. But again, your oven may cook differently than mine. You just want to make sure that it has a slight, not a really noticeable one, but a slight jiggle in the middle. That's how you know that it's ready. Alright, let's pop this sucker in the oven. So there's lots of steam coming out right now. It's because of our water bath down there. So you slide it in. We'll see you, little guy, in about 40 minutes. Alright, so now that our cheesecake is in the oven, whenever it gets out, you're going to have to let it cool down for at least 2 hours. And this is the hardest part of making this recipe, having to wait for it to cool down enough so that you can be able to cut it up and chow down on some cheesecake. So once it's out of the oven, cool down for 2 hours, then we have to stick it in the fridge for 4 to 8 hours. It's kind of late in the day today, so I'm going to stick it in the fridge and we're going to check on it in the morning. I want some right now, but we gotta wait. Some things are worth the wait though. See you in the morning. Well, it's not morning, but it is the day after. And we have our delicious cheesecake here, and I can't wait to dig in. So, as you can see, I was easily able to move it to like a platter. You can put it whatever platter you want, but it was really easy to put it on a platter because I put that parchment underneath, and it's a pretty solid cheesecake. So what I did was I took off the pan, because you could just unhinge it, and then I put a napkin on top of, or you can put a piece of parchment paper or part of saran wrap on top of the cheesecake, and then turn it around as you hold it. Peel off the paper, or peel off the pan first and then the paper, and then put your platter and then just flip it around, and then voila. it was super easy because it's a pretty solid cheesecake. So, all right, y'all ready to dig in? I know I am. Last night, let me tell you, last night our kitchen smelled so delicious. It smelled like Thanksgiving and Christmas all wrapped in one. We could smell those spices that, the pumpkin spice that I put in the cheesecake. It was really hard to not just, get a fork and dig in, but patience is key, right? Because now that it's nice and cool, it's gonna taste even better. All right, let's cut into this sucker. All right, the way I like to cut pies in general is to cut them in half first of all. That way I can know, I can kind of size it up a little bit better. All right, so now to cut our first slice. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay. Okay. I don't have a little pie spatula, but this will be perfect. All right, guys, here it goes. 2 thumbs up for me. It is really good. It's pumpkin cheesecake. It's exactly pumpkin cheesecake. You can taste all the flavors of the pumpkin, the cream cheese really comes through. It's nice and sweet. That crust, oh, that crust is so good. I love pecans. If you don't like pecans, you can easily switch it out for, like, say, almond flour. But I would recommend finding another recipe if you're not a pecan girl like I am. Holy guacamole. Holy pumpkin cheesecake. I'm gonna eat this thing all by myself. Sorry, Al. This is delicious. Alright guys, so there you have it. A delicious, low carb, no sugar pumpkin cheesecake. Give it a try for yourself. See, is there anything that you would add, anything that you would change to it? I would add maybe like a little bit of whipped cream on top and just a dash of nutmeg or something, but it is delicious. So if you're having trouble trying to find a recipe to take along with you to a potluck or to Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving, then this recipe is a winner. And keep it to yourself. Don't tell anybody that it's keto or low carb. They will never know the difference. All right. And next week I'm gonna come to you with some more delicious recipes for Thanksgiving to keep it low carb and keep us in check, right? So stay tuned and share this video, subscribe, and yeah, that's it. Love you guys. Bye.